Welcome to episode 5 of Talking Collingwood. I'm your host, Robbie D, and with me tonight, I have my co-host, Age. Age, welcome to Talking Collingwood.
Thanks for having me, Robbie. How are you, man?
Oh, look, what do we say, mate? We're in a prelim. We're in a fucking prelim, mate.
You beauty. Week off, relax. Well, being a Collingwood supporter, we never fucking relax, especially
Yeah,
what's going on at the moment.
yeah, nah. We can't relax until, we've lifted that Premiership Cup on the last day of September, mate. That's the only time we can relax. Until then, like you said, we don't relax. But so let's just tonight we'll be dissecting our 7-point win against Melbourne in the qualifying final. And we'll be talking about the Braden Maynard report. Yep. Obviously that's big news at the moment. There's a lot happening. And also just a little bit of just going through like what's awaiting us moving forward. Obviously this weekend's games, we'll talk a little bit about them.
Yeah, for sure.
But we can't obviously preview who we're going to play in the prelim because we're not going to know until, after the game on Saturday night between Port Adelaide and GWS. But look, we had a break last week. Obviously, we didn't record a podcast. It was just too short of a turnaround. From the time we would have uploaded it. We've had technical difficulties. Obviously, we're still on audio at the moment, but I promise to our listeners and viewers that we will end up recording a video, hopefully for the next episode, and with guests as well.
You got to remind me, Rob, because I've got to get my makeup done. You know what I mean?
No, you don't want to get your makeup done, mate. You don't wear makeup.
It'll be pretty.
Oh, mate. Anyway, all right. So, final scores for our qualifying final 7-point win versus Melbourne was Collingwood 9-6-60 to Melbourne 7-11-53. It's going to go through the goal kickers for us. Bobby Hill, 3 goals. Dan McStay, 2 goals. Singles to Jordan DeGoey, Darcy Cameron, Jack Crisp, and Brady Mychek. Disposals, Jack Crisp finished with the most disposals for us with 23. Still side bottom, finished with 22 disposals. Tom Mitchell with 21. Will Hoskin-Elliott finished on 19. And I still believe that was the best game I've ever seen Will Hoskin-Elliott play for our club.
100%.
By far.
100%.
And, we've been, critics of him. I know a lot of Collingwood supporters are.
Never.
You got to call a spade. And he was unbelievable. And I remember what you said in the last episode that we recorded. I'm not sure if you brought it up in the episode or if you brought it up to me like before we recorded it. About that spoil he did in the last game against Essendon in the last round. There's nothing on the line. Like we're up by 10 goals.
Yep.
Near the end of the game. And he's ran back from the wing and he's spoiled the ball through for a behind.
Weapon.
You just think that maybe that set the tone?
Hey, sorry, can I cut you off for a sec, Robbie?
Yeah.
I just got a message saying he's clear to play.
Who, Maynard?
Yeah, SCN Live. He's clear to play.
That's
now,
the
I'm
case.
I'm not saying apparently on SCN they're saying that he's free to play.
Well, that's big news if that's the case, but I'm sure we'll hear more in the next, 30 to 40 minutes while we record this podcast. And we'll dissect the game quarter by quarter. I just want to run through the stats first. The team stats.
Yep.
So I'll start with the disposals. Collingwood 319 disposals to Melbourne's 325.
Magpie, Braden Maynard on AFL 360 has been cleared by the AFL Tribunal. You fucking beauty.
Oh, that's great news.
You fucking
Hey,
beauty.
sometimes you just need luck to fall on your
Oh,
side.
you
You know what I
fucking
mean?
beauty.
Like when you look at what happened in 2002 with Jason Cloke, remember in the
Yes.
prelim against Adelaide,
Yes.
and then the following year in 2003, Anthony Rocker. We've had bad luck with this stuff, yeah. So, and
is the AFL gonna? Would they take it to the trial? Would they appeal this? Would the AFL appeal this now, Robbie?
I don't know. I
Come
don't
on,
know.
man.
I really don't.
Surely they just leave it alone now.
I don't know.
Crazy. This is huge. This is huge, Robbie. Sorry to cut you off, man, but this is fucking huge. I thought they were gonna whack him, bro. I really thought they were
Oh,
gonna whack him
I
hard.
would have. I thought so too.
Yeah.
But who knows what's going to happen? The backlash from this is going to be massive. Like you've seen what's been happening. But look, we'll touch on that a bit later. But yeah, like going through these stats. Obviously I've ran through the disposals. 319 to Collingwood, 325 to Melbourne. Kicks 212 to Collingwood, 205 to Melbourne. Handballs 107 to Collingwood, 120 to Melbourne. And this is the big one. Inside 50s, 37 to Collingwood, 69 to Melbourne. 69. That's 32
That's
more
huge.
inside 50s. That's
huge.
Unheard of.
Huge.
And here's the thing, right? When you look at this, that means that obviously Melbourne kicked 7-11. So they got 18 scoring shots, not counting any that they kicked on the full. I can't remember if they did or not.
Yeah. They
So
kicked, I think,
18 scoring shots.
3 on the full.
So that means we defended 51 inside 50s successfully.
Yep.
And I just had a look at like Mason Cox's podcast, or just a little bit of it. The most recent episode, and he was talking about that Collingwood were happy about where Melbourne were taking their shots. He goes, Collingwood defended the deeper entries inside Melbourne's forward 50 and our defensive 50 really well. Like we got the ball to ground and we got the ball out. As he said that, he mentioned that like a lot of Melbourne's shots that they missed were further out and on angles. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
So
high percentage shots.
Yeah. So he was saying that we were like apparently really happy with where Melbourne were taking their shots from. Don't get me wrong, they missed a few shots. Like you wouldn't say Bailey Fritsch shanked that
Elliot
the way he
did.
Same,
man. Elliot could have put that game to bed in the first quarter.
Yeah, look, Elliot, he's a confidence player, and when he misses a few early ones like that, you could see that it wasn't his night. But one thing about Elliot, he's going to do is he'll bounce back in the prelim. Also, disposal efficiency, from what I can see here, was 65.2% to Collingwood, 66.2% to Melbourne. It's a little bit, lower than usual because Collingwood's average for 2023 is 73.1% and Melbourne's is 70.9%. So obviously the conditions played a part in that. Efficiency inside 50, Collingwood 40.5%, Melbourne 33.3%. And we were just below our average of 48.4%, and Melbourne was well below their average of 45.5%. This is efficiency inside 50. Free kick count, 14 to Collingwood, 20 to Melbourne, but it wasn't just the differential in the free kicks, it's the free kicks that weren't given to Collingwood. Blatant free kicks that weren't paid. Where do we start? Like, what was your thoughts on that?
On the free kicks?
Yeah, just in general, the free kicks that weren't given, the free kicks that were given.
Oh, look, man, listen. I don't scrutinize umpires too much when it comes to finals, to be honest. It's manic. It's pressure. It's hard. It's quick. It's fast. I mean, I will give you one example. So, in the first 2-3 minutes, when Angus Brayshaw hit Maynard's knee in that in a little bit of a scrimmage there in the deep pocket now in our forward 50. He was paid a high tackle free kick. Taylor Adams did nothing. He just stood there. Someone pushed Angus Brayshaw into his knee, and he got a high free kick. Shit like that. They got to let that go, Robbie. Like, you can't call a free kick just because he hit his head. But Oliver, I think it was Oliver or someone on the wing. He threw the ball, mate. Level 2. I've seen it clear as day. How can they not see it, Robbie? How can they not see it?
Yeah, there was a few really
How can they not see
dodgy
that?
calls like that went against us, but also that we didn't receive. That Josh Dacos holding the ball, he didn't have time to breathe. Like, I know Josh had a poor game, like he was off, completely off.
But I don't think they played the side bottom Langdon wing all night. They played it all night. They never come on the Joshy wing. It was played on the
Look,
Langdon
like
side
as I said, I'm not having a go at Josh's performance. I'm just saying, like, he set a high benchmark for himself. He had a quiet game. Now, obviously we know that Josh will bounce back against.
You can say the same for Melbourne. I mean, Christian Salem done nothing. And he's distributing the ball from the halfback line, and he done fuck all.
Oh, look, we'll go through it anyway, but let's just go through some other stats. Hit outs 48-33, our way, Collingwood's way. First of all, master stroke by McRae by playing Mason Cox and Darcy Cameron, but starting Mason Cox at the first bounce, and when he went up with that knee into Gawn, it's like set the tone of the game. But let me just, obviously, I need to praise an opposition player, and Maxi Gawn is a freak, mate. He is a freak. Watching him live, because I was behind the goals, Ponce was stand end, behind our cheer squad. I was standing, actually. First time this season I've stood. Thanks, AFL. Couldn't even get a ticket to sit.
You had ants in your pants, mate. I reckon you couldn't sit anyway if you had a chair.
I'm a full AFL member, so work that out.
I reckon if they gave you a chair, you still wouldn't be able to sit down, mate.
Oh, man, I had some... Look, it's actually not bad there. I don't know if you've ever stood behind the goals. It's fucking good atmosphere, man. It's especially like we got there a little bit earlier and we're on the railing. So watching Max Gawn, like the way he covers ground, he's such a smart runner. It's not just his elite fitness, it's his smartness. He knows how to get to a contest. And he'll do it he'll do it in a way where he'll actually even leave his man and he'll run across the ground on an angle, and he knows where the ball's going to go. So he's there before the ball even gets there. Do you know what I mean? It's like he is one step ahead. If we didn't have Mason Cox in the ruck, he would have destroyed us, because he destroyed us as it was, but he destroyed us more around the ground.
Yeah.
As the stats say, than the hitouts. But just having Cox as the number one ruck, I think he does well against Gawn usually.
So I had level 2 seats.
Yeah.
On the wing, anyway. And I was watching him. I could, on level 2, you pretty much see up close and you see a lot. Man, there's times where you think he's not going to mark it, and he marks it, and you think, how the fuck did he mark that? How did he read that ball? There's 5-6 players bumping, pushing, pulling, and you just see his hands go up and he gets it, and you think, you know what? There's some players you can't stop them. You just can't. You can't stop them, and you know what? You got to try stop everything else around them.
And the way they set up behind the ball, especially when they defend the wings, you'll see May and Lever push up the ground, and then you've got May, Lever, and Gawn behind the ball.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Scary.
It's like I said, man. That was, and I said it in the last episode. This was going to be our hardest game, I believe. Yeah. Like the winner of this game, which, obviously and thankfully it was us.
Yep.
It opens the door. It's like the key to the premiership
Oh,
because look
it's
what's happened.
huge.
We've got the week off. We're awaiting a home prelim final at the MCG versus either
Well,
Port Adelaide
Robbie,
or GWS, compared to Melbourne, who now has to play a knockout semi-final to Carlton.
Yep.
And Melbourne is staring down the barrel of two seasons where they could be out in straight sets, and they're banged up. They've got injuries. Carlton's only won, I think they've won 10 of their last 11 games, right? But that's a 50-50 game. And then even if you win, what happens after that? You go to the Gabba to play Brisbane. So we dodge one.
Yeah. Oh, mate. Look, you got to remember last year when we just lost to Geelong, right? By what was it, 8 points or 9 points or something like
6
that?
points.
6 points, right? Same thing happened, eh? Geelong went and won it. They just did what they had to do against us. And
but then they split the switch in the prelim, yeah? Like they ran into Brisbane.
But what I'm saying is that was their hardest game, was us. Yeah. They put us aside, just as we did to Melbourne, but they needed that win to get that 2 weeks, freshen up. Whoever was going to come near them next week at the week after, sorry, they were just going to thump them, Robbie. It was inevitable. It was going to happen. But then, Melbourne hasn't won a final in Melbourne since 2018.
Yep. Correct.
Since 2018.
That was the year they finished 6th, and I think they beat Geelong in the elimination final, and then they beat Hawthorn in the semi-final. And then they lost to West Coast in Perth in the prelim. And then obviously COVID hit, and then they won the COVID Cup in 2021.
Yeah.
The COVID fucking Cup, mate. That's what they won. An asterisk forever, an asterisk next to the... Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Age. Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, mate. Got you now. Loud and clear.
Not sure what happened. But yeah, Melbourne's 13th premiership will forever have an asterisk next to it. Forever. Yeah. 2021. Fucking COVID Cup.
So this guy was bagging me. This Irish guy was bagging me all game. He's calling everything I was calling, I was wrong. Everything he was calling, he was wrong.
Melbourne supporter?
Melbourne supporter. And this other Collingwood supporter turned around and said to me, he goes, you know what, mate? He goes, in 2000, when did they win it? 2021?
2021.
He goes, you were never there to watch it. And he just didn't know what to say.
Yeah, he didn't know. That's it. Clearances. And I mentioned in the last episode that we needed to break even in the clearances and contested possessions to give ourselves a chance to win this game. And even though the clearances finished 80 to Collingwood and 88 to Melbourne. So centre clearances were 7 to Collingwood, 12 to Melbourne. Stoppage clearances 33 to Collingwood, 32 to Melbourne. Clearances around the ground 40 to Collingwood, 44 to Melbourne. So we broke even. We lost them, but we broke even enough that, it keeps us in the game. Contested possessions, we lost 139 to 153. Yeah, we lost it, but we didn't get smashed.
No.
The game, the majority of the game, apart from the first quarter and a half, was played in our defensive half. But in transition, we were more efficient, going forward. But let's just touch on that first quarter. We came out to play. Yeah, we kicked 4-2-26 to Melbourne's 1 goal. So we had a 20-point lead. But I think it all started from the first bounce with Mason Cox coming out and stamping his authority on Gawn. And you could see we were on. We were on.
Mate, Robbie, you're spot on, bro. That was the first thing I noticed was that center bounce was his. Gawn looked at him, gave him a nod. Coxie gave him nothing back, and I thought, fucking, we're on. We are on here. Yep. Yeah. It was a different Collingwood. It was pure business. They followed their processes, whatever they want to call them. Their game plan, and they executed.
I know it was more obviously it was raining heavily before the game, so the ground was still very wet. I thought we played the conditions a lot better in the first quarter.
Well, we led the whole way, Robbie.
Yeah, Melbourne had 0 minutes in front.
They kicked 2 goals in 2 quarters. In the first 2
Yeah.
quarters, they kicked 2 goals. You're not going to win a game. I
No.
don't care how much inside 50s you got. I don't care. You're bringing in a bloke that was in a moon boot 6 days ago. He was scared to kick the ball. Clearly, he's got a sore foot. Mate, when Fritsch gets in the 35-meter range, pencil it in, man. That's a goal.
Yeah,
Pencil
no,
it in,
100%. He
right?
couldn't. His kicking was fucked
Pencil
because
it
of his injury.
He was sore, mate. He was sore. So, Goody to come out and say, "Oh, we're going to follow our plans and believe in our this and that." That ain't going to get
Fuck
you so
Goody.
far, mate.
Goody, hey. Goodwin's
Yeah,
a
he's no
fucking
good. He's no
sore
good.
loser,
He's no
mate.
good.
Fucking
He's a
sore
very
loser. He's a
Yep.
fucking sore loser. Can't stand the sight of him, mate. Fuck him.
He threw Maynard under the bus. Fucking
Yeah,
prick,
he sure
so,
did. He can't
yeah.
handle the fact that they
Yeah.
just got beaten fair and square.
Well,
And
like I said, they haven't won a final since 2018 in Melbourne.
yeah,
And
so
that's on his resume.
look, that 4-2-26, it could have easily been 6 goals straight. Elliott missed 2 very, very easy shots in the first quarter.
Gettable. Very
Gettable.
gettable.
Especially the second one was very an easy one. The first one was probably 50-50.
I had that feeling he was going to miss. He looked nervous, bro.
Yeah.
He looked nervous. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird, man.
But remember I also mentioned last week I circled the 4 players that are pivotal to our clearance stats, and they were DeGoey, Mitchell, Adams, and Pendlebury. And I said against Essendon, they got 19 clearances between them.
Yep.
And I said that we need to get something similar against Melbourne to give ourselves a chance to win. All 4 of them, DeGoey, Mitchell, Adams, and Pendlebury, got 4 clearances each.
Wow.
So that's 16 clearances between the 4 of them. And you'll never guess who got the most clear. They were equal 3rd most clearances in our team. The top 2 were Mason Cox with 6.
Wow.
Jack Crisp 5. So for me, like the players that really stood up, I thought obviously Will Hoskin-Elliott was unbelievable.
Can I give you one?
Yeah.
In the first quarter, Taylor Adams had 8 touches and 3 tackles.
Yeah, Taylor Adams was unbelievable as well.
His first quarter was huge.
Came out to play.
And he only had 15 disposals for the rest of the game. But that first quarter, he fucking went ballistic.
Yeah, he set the tone of the game.
Man.
And
he really did.
I thought Tom Mitchell had a solid game,
Yeah, solid.
And he built into that form, like we said, against Essendon. He hit some form, and then he's built for finals, Tom Mitchell. It's his type of contested football. I thought Quainer was unbelievable. He was so good. So good.
Dude, you know what? I just can't look past Will Hoskin-Elliott. I don't know, man. That and the Jack Crisp goal from 55.
Crispy was good too. Yeah, Crispy, side bottom.
Sidey was.
Yeah, side bottom's Mr. September, mate. He loves it.
Yeah.
Look, there's a few players that obviously, Bobby Hill. Wow.
Oh, bro. Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, wow.
Unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
We've been crying out for a player.
Checkers 15 disposals, killed it.
Yeah, he kicked 1 goal, I think, Checkers. But
1-1.
We've been crying out for a player like Bobby Hill to arrive at our club, because we haven't had anyone since Leon Davis that's had that X factor.
We need another player that just goes where the other team goes, fuck, man, we didn't expect him to kick 3 goals and blitz it like this. Do you get what I'm saying? It sort of went under the radar, if it makes sense.
And his pace is just so important to our team. You know what I mean? And that's where, obviously I forgot to mention it earlier, but the changes that we made for this game, obviously
Robbie.
Nick Can you hear me?
Is going to come back in.
Nick? Oh, mate, unbelievable.
Man, that kid is going to explode. Man, whoever we play, they got to worry about him now as well.
Yeah.
Massive.
Well,
massive, Robbie, massive.
Going into this game, there was obviously, we always Murphy and Murphy was brilliant, by the way.
Yes.
Murphy, Moore, and McQuarrie were always going to come back in, right?
Yep.
Frampton and McRae were always going to go out. But
Noble.
no one would have seen Johnny Noble be the one that got dropped. Now, it fucking became a big story, like to the point
And
where
it's always a big story at Collingwood, man.
Yeah,
no matter
but
what they do,
look,
you know that.
we are, obviously we love and respect John Noble. Like he's a stalwart,
100%,
yeah.
Yeah,
He's
man,
play what? How many? 81 consecutive games.
83.
Yeah. So yeah, 83. So
Yeah.
there's always a hard luck story in September. Like in 1990, it was Brian Taylor and Alan Richardson, yeah. In 2010, it was Simon Prestigiacomo and Leon Davis. Presty obviously put his hand up before the first granny, and then Leon Davis got dropped after the grand final draw. Even though he kicked the goal late in that game, he got dropped, and Tyson Goldsay came in. So there's always a hard luck story, yeah. And I believe that
Goldie kicked the first goal in the
he did
2010
replay. Yep, he did. Ponce stand in.
Wow, Matt, I still remember that. Huge.
Yeah. See, we were in our prime then. We were what, 25, 26? So we were like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just want to experience that feeling again. But the thing is, the changes, obviously Guinea ended up being the sub, and Markov, like we've been calling to be in our best 22 for weeks now. But I just think he made, Fly made the tough calls, and and now, like, we're not going to preview our prelim game, but just say if this is true, that Maynard's off, right? Maynard got off.
He's off. Then, and the tribunals, they're not appealing it. The AFL's not appealing.
All right. So that means that there can be only one possible change for the next week's game, and that will be Nick Dacos in. And for me, it's going to have to be Lipinski. Lipinski out, Dacos in. Who else? You can't drop Guinea unless he just uses Guinea as a scapegoat. And see, what do you do?
But then who goes sub?
That's what I'm saying. So if it's either Dacos will come in for Lipinski, or he comes in for Ginnivan. And then obviously if he comes in for Ginnivan, that means someone has to become the sub, right? If he comes in straight swap for Lipinski, because let's be honest, like, me, I've always said Lipinski needs to play more time in the midfield, but for whatever reason he's not. The one game he did play there against.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I reckon, I don't know why, but I think Markov will go out.
Nah, no way. No chance. No way? Nah. It's going to be Lipinski.
Does Noble come back in?
Nah. I can't see it happening. You can't. Really? How? For who?
Wow.
For who, man? Nick Dacos is going to slide into the half back line, yeah? So, for who? Yeah. But look, going forward for the rest of the game, like, obviously we went in quarter time, 4-2-26 to Melbourne's 1-6, and then Melbourne the second quarter was very even. It ended up 5-3-33 at halftime to Melbourne's 2-4-16. Is the third quarter where we broke the game open, where we kicked 4-2-26 to Melbourne's 2-5. And then we gave ourselves a 25-point lead. And then they came at us. Obviously, they came at us very, very hard. And I was expected, pretty much just needed one goal in the last quarter just to ice it, but it didn't happen. And
no, it didn't.
In the end, it was, considering what our defense looked like for that rough period we had between the Carlton and Brisbane games. Obviously that block of games there where we were conceding over 100 points, and our defense was just fucking spectacular, mate.
Fucking massive.
It's huge. They're great defensive. It was one of my favorite wins because we showed we can win in a different way. It doesn't have to be all out attack.
Obviously we were at the game, we watched it, right? And how you referred to Coxie earlier in the program, you said he was never fearing what Melbourne was going to do with the ball from those particular percentages that they're entering from, and it looked like that, Rob. It actually looked like that. I never felt worried after the 10th inside 50 in the fourth quarter. I said, mate, they're not doing nothing with it.
We said it in the last episode. Melbourne is going to keep us in the game because they're not a high scoring team. They've got a dysfunctional forward line. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Can you imagine Melbourne kept Hogan?
Man, wow. I mean,
He went to
that's
Freo,
one
obviously
guy.
off-field issues, and then now he's at GWS. He's on fire. But
That's one
can you
guy I actually
imagine?
really wanted to talk
Can
to.
you imagine Melbourne kept Hogan? They'll be unstoppable. They would.
But you know they got Josh Shackey, yeah?
Who? Oh, Shaki. Oh, you're the one at the Bulldogs. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
they won't play him. They won't play him.
Would you take him, Rob?
No. We
You
need
wouldn't
to we need to just focus on the next 2 weeks and make sure that we win this flag and then worry about what we're going to do with our list. But look, all in all, we won the game. Obviously, the Maynard incident was a huge factor. Brayshaw going off, concussed it completely.
Yeah, no good.
It's not good to see, and we wish Brayshaw a speedy recovery. But
100%.
it actually unbalanced Melbourne because that means Petrarca had to stay in the midfield. He couldn't go forward.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it really
fucked them up.
man.
And it was a great win. Like, it was a great win. We take the win.
That's where I think Goody's really filthy because Trucks had to stay in the midfield.
Yeah.
They were the 3 highest ball winners in the.
Yeah, look, in the end, Petrarca worked his way into the game. Gorn, Petrarca, and Oliver.
Gorn, Petrarca, Oliver were the 3 highest positives.
They were. But look, in the end, we did what we needed to do. We got the win. We got the week off. Carlton beat Sydney in the elimination final. GWS upset St Kilda at MCG. And Brisbane smashed Port Adelaide and did so in devastating fashion. And I think the way it's set up now, you've got Collingwood on one side of the draw, waiting to see who we're going to be facing in the prelim, and that's going to be the winner between Port Adelaide and GWS. That game's played at the Adelaide Oval, and on the other side of the draw, you've got Brisbane waiting in the second prelim with a home game at the Gabba versus Melbourne or Carlton. And I think both these games, and we don't have long left actually. We've only got we don't have long left to record this. But this Melbourne Carlton game, I'm just going to ask you for a quick tip.
Yep.
Who do you think will win?
I think Carlton will win.
I think so too. And it pains me to say it because I fucking hate them. I hate Carlton. But I actually hate Melbourne even more because of what they've tried to do to Maynard.
Yeah, I think Carlton will win.
I hope Carlton wins. But then I hope Brisbane smashes Carlton by 100 points the week after.
Nah, I hope they lose by a point.
Who, Melbourne?
No, Carlton if they go to Brisbane.
Oh yeah, whatever. As long as Melbourne's out, because I've fucking had enough of them.
I think Carlton will do the job.
What about Port Adelaide and GWS?
I think GWS got too much class, man. Yeah, I think GWS will beat Port. Port's disintegrating. They're losing players left, right, and centre. They just told Boki today that they're not going to sign him on until next year.
I think you're right. I think
falling apart.
I think the Orange Tsunami, mate, at the GWS are going to roll Port Adelaide out in straight sets.
Yeah,
I think Uncle Ken Hinkley, mate, his scrutiny is going to be back, even though they've re-signed him. What's a contract mean these days? You know what I mean?
Well, Kane Corns actually said they should wait till the end of the year. To be honest.
Also credit to Kane Corns. You know me, I've always.
Yeah, he backed Maynard.
He backed Maynard, as did a lot of the players.
Dangerfield backed him.
Look, we've only got a couple of minutes to go. Like, I wanted to speak about the Maynard incident a bit more, but we just got caught up with dissecting the game. But all in all, we know the outcome. We know he's off, according to the news that's come through, right?
Yes, he's off. 100%.
But we've got 3 minutes to sort of quickly just dissect what he could have done. And that means absolutely nothing. Like, he went for the ball. Brayshaw obviously got the clearance. Maynard went for the smother. He ran off his man to make that smother. Unfortunate collision. All media driven. Caroline Wilson, mate, She ripped into us on footy classifieds, Caroline.
Sweet Carolina.
Yeah.
Robbie, the way I look at it is, these players are employed by the AFL. These guys are doing claims 10 years after or 20 years after their footy careers. It's like a work cover thing. The AFL is protecting their ass, so they don't have to pay millions later on down the track. It's just a business. They don't give a fuck about the players' welfare.
No, they don't give a fuck about anyone
They
but
don't give a
the
fuck.
but the money
Fuck
that's
their
coming
pockets.
through. But
Yeah,
so
don't let that fool you.
because I you know, this week I've been sick, so I haven't been doing much. So I've been listening to the news and like SEN and all these shows, and it's just a circus, mate. The whole thing, the whole Maynard thing's a circus. And like I said, in previous years, these decisions didn't go our way. This one did. Maybe it's like,
yes, Robbie, don't say it.
Yeah.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Just let the ball roll and let's just enjoy the ride.
If it wasn't for the outcome, like if Maynard was still obviously up in the air, like now that we know that he's off, like obviously we can't say too much.
Yep.
But apart from the fact that, you know, the media, Melbourne, Brayshaw's brother as well. What was his brother's name from Fremantle? He had a crack at us as well.
Hamish Brayshaw, is it?
But Caroline Wilson drove this, like, and I think Michael Christian, he's
threatening to quit, actually.
Yeah, and he apparently threw the case out. Like, and then that lady that they brought in, like, flexed her muscles and
and then he flexed his muscles. He did.
Yeah. But look, Adrian, feels good to be back in the prelim,
can
mate.
I say something quickly?
Yeah.
Can I say something quickly? Just wait till a football knocks out a player. An actual football, when they kick it that hard and it hits someone in the head.
Well, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen, and I can't wait to see what happens, Rob.
Yeah, it's a bit of a circus at the moment. But look, we'll be back. Hopefully talking about a grand final after our prelim game. So we're going to take another week off, talking Collingwood, and we'll be dissecting our preliminary final against either Port Adelaide or GWS, hopefully talking about a grand final. But anyway, Age, thanks for joining me on Talking Collingwood.
No worries, man. And
we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Will do, Robbie. Take care, man.
And to all our listeners and viewers, see you in 2 weeks as well.